Hello, Avalor. Welcome back to another episode of The Magic Within, your podcast resource for all things Elena of Avalor. We are coming to you tonight live from our Elena of Avalor Discord server. Woohoo! Don't forget, if you guys want to join our server, you are absolutely more than welcome to come and fangirl with us all about Elena and many, many more. In our Naomi-tastic podcast tonight, we will be discussing the Elena of Avalor's most recent episode, which of course is Naomi Knows Best. Fun fact, before we jump into our fabulous podcast tonight, that Naomi is the only character to have her name in the title card twice. So how awesome is that?
Go Naomi.
Interesting.
Whoop, whoop. And of course, joining me tonight is the rest of the squad from all around the world, your podcast princesses. From the bottom of the earth, all the way in New Zealand, it's Lady C. Hi everyone, it's Chrissy. And our number one of our American beauties is Lady J.
Hi, it's Jenny.
And second American beauty is Lady A.
Hey, it's Amelia.
Our Greek goddess, Lady G.
Hello, it's Georgia.
And last but not least, our German princess, Lady B.
Hi, I'm Becky. Technically, I'm American princess living in Germany, but that's cool.
Still counts.
Still love you, girl.
Right?
Awesome. Okay, we can't wait to get started with you tonight, so let's begin.
All right, jumping in. Oh my gosh, guys, this episode was so good. There was so much going on. In a nutshell, Naomi gets suspicious when Elena receives a note from King Joaquin requesting her presence in Carissa. And once again, Elena doesn't listen and runs off with Mateo and Esteban, and they end up captured. Dun, dun, dun. And it's up to Naomi to find her assertive voice and come up with a plan to rescue them. Not only that, but we have some creepy dark magic. We have our favorite royal wizard being like a badass. And there's some awesome teamwork among the amigos, a beautiful Jacqueline song, and our favorite royal guard is back. Woohoo!
Yes, I'm so excited. Okay, that's something else. I'll talk about it later.
Now we all are excited, don't worry.
For real.
I think we were all super excited to see him this time. All right, so the scene opens up with, it's almost like the Wild West for a second. We have Naomi, Elena, and Mateo practicing lassoing, which was a really cute little thing to add in there.
So, yeah, we see Naomi there demonstrating her expertise, which to me, kind of after watching the whole episode, I think it's a really good setup for what's to come. It just kind of foreshadows that she's the one in the know this episode. So that's kind of interesting.
And of course, Elena, jack of all trades, Castilla Flores, is of course a natural.
She is. She's good at everything, isn't she?
Girl, I envy her.
Right.
Meanwhile, Mateo is just a dork. He's like, oh, everything can be solved with magic on his lasso.
And his
backup,
lasso,
right?
we have a tambourita.
I love how he's so cute with his little shifty eyes. And then, like, he cheats like no one's going to notice.
It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I noticed that in the scene, so Elena has her scepter again, which doesn't even reach for it for the entire episode, and so I was kind of wondering, like, what's up with that? Did she just get back from the sunbirds, but does it not work yet, or was it like actually a mistake or something? Because I'm kind of confused.
So I saw on Twitter, I don't know if any of you the girls saw this, but Craig Gerber actually confirmed that this is a mistake. This is their Starbucks coffee cup. And
okay.
yeah, but he confirmed it was a mistake, and it is currently being fixed for future airings. So fun fact, if you catch it on Disney Junior sometime in the next few months, you might actually see a version without the scepter.
Oh, interesting. Well, that kind
Great.
of makes me feel better then, that it wasn't just like some part of the story that I just was completely missed or something. Well,
For real.
that's interesting though. But then, okay, so back to the storyline. So then they get interrupted in their last session because Esteban brings an urgent message from King Joaquin of Carissa.
And the letter claims that he has captured Victor and Carla and needs Elena to go straight away, like right away to Carissa to discuss something that the Malvagos have revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Naomi is immediately suspicious. She has that instinct again that something's wrong. That doesn't sound like King Joaquin at all.
And Caroline is like, mm-hmm. She's like, oh, yeah, no, I'll go.
It's true.
See ya.
She has a good intuition.
She does. She's such a
she does
rogue.
have. She's pretty sharp with that.
Nothing gets
But-
past Naomi.
No.
Almost.
Almost, yes. All right. So obviously, Elena's super relieved that Victor and Carla have finally been captured. And we can kind of see that she's not really seeing Naomi's point of view at all in this. I mean, in her defense, like, I totally would be the same way. I'd be like, hell yes, you know? Like, what are you talking about? They got him, you know? And, you know, a lot of it is probably her really wanting them to be captured, too, that she doesn't really consider. Because, you know, she already promised Naomi that she would consider her, you know, opinions and things in the future, you know, more seriously. So you can see that, you know, that excitement and, you know, want for Victor and Carla to be captured kind of helps her completely neglect, you know, or oversee Naomi's point of view in this.
Yeah, I totally see that. And I noticed the part where, you know, Elena tells Naomi she believes Avalor will finally be safe again after the Delgados are dealt with. And I couldn't help but wonder if this, like, might have something to do, like, internally with, like, the prophecy of darkness and that being at the forefront of her mind. Like, in her mind, like, okay, if I stop the Delgados, then I've thwarted the prophecy, or maybe it's just one less thing to worry about in addition to the prophecy. But either way, poor girl has a lot on her mind, and
Oh, totally. I almost think that at this point she's already pretty well aware that she has no idea what the prophecy is talking about. You know, but she knows that darkness, she's gonna run across it and she's gonna need to, like, get rid of it then. You know, and I guess the Delgados would fall under that category.
Absolutely.
So Esteban also is like patronizing Naomi. And for a moment, I was thinking that, oh, come on now, are they returning back to the finders leapers dynamic? That was really the worst.
I thought that too.
But thinking about it, he was not as patronizing, as he wasn't exactly trying to make her feel inferior. He was just as excited as Elena to find the Delgados. And I mean, Esteban also has a good reason. It's Victor Delgado we're talking about. He's
It felt almost affectionate this time compared to the last time where it was just cruel and, like, name calling almost.
Well, they've come a long way.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, what surprised me actually is how he called her Miss Turner, and it's been since season 1 he's called her Miss Turner, and I was like, why are you calling her Miss Turner? But yeah, I think that's kind of the, you know, patronizing, but in a actually kind of sweet way. I don't know.
It's kind of endearing. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a complicated relationship, so it's good.
It fits, that's for sure.
Yeah. But still, with the whole thing, Naomi still kind of has, like, a bad feeling about it all. And she's not really too sure, but she like, voices her, like, opinions about why they shouldn't go, but yet they still kind of overrule her. And so she's like, okay, that's fine, I guess. But she can't help but watch the ship sail off, and she still has this bad feeling that she can't really shake it off, which normally we've seen Naomi, she's always kind of stubborn and she's really set in her ways. But then you see right now, and she's kind of, like, relenting to what other people think, which shows that she is maturing, but yet she still just can't shake that she doesn't feel like it's the right decision. But she's still letting it happen anyway because she trusts her friends, and so I feel like that was a really good character moment for her.
Yeah,
And
that felt
then-
really
Yeah, so true.
And then right afterwards is, like, my favorite part in this whole episode. So, like,
Obviously.
Can you hear?
I'm a little bit surprised.
All right, spit it out, Amelia.
Say it.
Gabe is back. I'm so excited.
Yes.
I think I actually did scream, like softly.
Softly, really?
Late, but
Girl, I know I screamed
Soft.
louder than that.
I think we even send the ambulance over.
no, yeah, I'm pretty sure I was kind of like, I couldn't even, like, form any emotions at the moment.
That's incoherent.
I was so happy. I had no idea he was going to be, well, I was hoping that he'd be back, like, soon because, you know, he's been gone for kind of a long time. But I just wasn't expecting him to just kind of, like, show up, like, and so it was a very happy surprise.
Yeah,
The entire
because
West
the
Coast just
episode
heard screaming.
I think so.
Basically.
It
You
was
can't have
Naomi.
a season
not-
finale without him.
That's
Oh, I
true.
know. I actually kind of forget this is the season finale. Like
Right.
I know it is, but like I have to keep reminding myself it is.
Yeah, me too, kinda.
Right?
Feels weird.
It's just so like integrated and smooth. It's like, wait, now we have to wait for what's next? Ah.
Oh, god damn it.
How
Wait.
dare you in this season? But hurry up, season 3.
I know. We got the whole
Exactly.
summer to get through. But yes, Gabe is back. And I personally, like, this is one of those, like, things from a military wife perspective, so it's a little unique, but I had to laugh because he looks like, and it's completely implied that he smells exactly the same way my husband does every time he comes back from the field.
That's so funny.
Like, gross.
I was gonna say, how do you guys not like hose them down in the front? Like,
Well, you know, like when you're at the airport picking them up, you're like, okay, do I even have to let you into the car? Can you sit on top? I love you. I'm glad you're back, but ew.
you prepare and you get the little, what's it called? The little pine tree things that hang
Yeah,
in the
here.
car. What are they called?
Stick them in all his pockets. Spray the
Put 'em all over
Febreze.
underneath the seat.
Give him a necklace.
That's
Totally
amazing.
discreet.
Oh gosh, poor Rob.
Hashtag
Should I
things
put a
military
pine
wives
forest?
know.
So the interesting thing about that is that the Jacquins respond to him the same way as the human soldiers do. They're like, "Yes, Captain!" Salute. It's really
I
cute.
know.
Yes, Gabe gets the respect he deserves.
Yes,
It's
he does.
awesome.
It was so cute. I loved it.
Speaking of Jacqueline, I was dying when Migs covered his nose with his wing because Gabe smelled so bad. So they have like a keen sense of smell because the poor Jacqueline.
Right?
I know. Aren't they supposed to have like an amplified sense of smell, like most animals? Anyways, that smell doesn't seem to deter our next reunion, which is when Naomi and Gabe get to see each other again, which I thought was so cute.
Yeah.
It was.
Totally
Was.
he just totally ran up to her and okay, I'm gonna like fangirl a little bit. But he totally just ran up to her and like grabs her by the waist and brings her into a hug, and she just has that like nice little content look on her face when it's very cute. You know, whether you ship them or not, that's beside the point. It was just like a really adorable, tender moment between two friends, and I couldn't stop fangirling about that at all.
I was very excited too.
Yeah,
It
because you know
was.
what? It was very sweet, whether you look at it from a friendship perspective or a shippy perspective,
Mhm.
which honestly I can do either.
Yes.
Honey, I also think we were thinking we were Naomi that scene.
I know everyone was pretending to be Naomi.
Right. Well, yeah.
Oh, Gabe!
Just imagine that happening. No.
The way
I
their
can't talk
body
like that.
language was, though, like, I was almost surprised he didn't swing her around in a circle first.
Well, the way he like grabs her waist, and it's like,
Yes.
see, I'm sorry, I slowed down that scene, so I know every little tick that went through there. He grabs her by the waist, and then it goes slides up to her back, and there's a sweet little hug. And yep, sorry, I think that's kind of shippy, but
Me
yeah.
too.
And I'm pretty sure Becky does too, right?
Yes, seriously. Like, I'm sorry, you're trying not to be shippy, but I'm going there. They totally ran into each other's arms. And again, this is another one of those like military wife perspective things, but it totally gave me flashbacks of redeployment reunions with my husband. Like, that's exactly how they go. So
Cute.
yes, so there's a bond there, and how you interpret it, that's up to you, but I ship it.
I am wondering though, like, as I watch all this, because like everyone's so happy to see him back, but I wonder how long has he like really been gone, or if he's just coming back to regroup. Has he like gone back on breaks like before then, or is this like literally the first time they've seen him like almost all season? So it's like almost like a year or something, or
Oh my
like have they
gosh,
been
yeah.
out in the field since finding Zuzo? Or there's just like so many questions. I wish I could know, but I guess we'll just have to think on it for a little bit longer.
Right. So then Naomi informs Gabe that Victor and Carla have supposedly been apprehended, and Gabe is super, super like, whoa, what just happened? That's amazing.
Yeah, but Naomi shares her doubts. I mean, it's that part interests me because it seems that Naomi is actually familiar with Joaquin's correspondence. She knows exactly how he greets Elena in his letters, which makes me wonder because it comes up as a point later on. We'll discuss that, but it seems like Naomi is actually getting into foreign affairs, and I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, she definitely does her job well and thoroughly.
Yeah. That's some great, that's some great eyes he's got there. It's like, whoa,
Good
that's not
memory.
the kind of letter. Yeah.
No. He writes it exactly like this. It's like, dang girl.
Right? I can't quote
Oh,
letters
yeah.
like that.
I know.
She's like a little detective, sleuthing around.
It's awesome.
Pretty cool.
Cute. Gotta love Naomi.
Then there's this cute little scene where Gabe makes a joke about taquitos, which, taquitos.
Yum.
Can I just say that Gabe eats taquitos like a pregnant woman? I have
Relate.
a joke about that. No, I have a little story, completely going aside here. But
Bring it.
when I was, flashback 7 years ago, when I was pregnant with my first daughter,
Aw.
I totally got so sick one day at work and I had to go home. And I was like, puking and everything, right? And I was like, well, I wonder what's wrong, right? Everything came back negative. It was fine, okay? Well, I went home after puking my eyeballs out practically, and I suddenly had this huge craving for taquitos. So I got that box nasty taquitos from the market. Like, I don't think you guys know. They're nasty. They're like little taquitos. They look like little, I don't know.
Rolled up
like
grease
little,
roll thingies.
Yeah, there's no meat in them. It's probably, it's disgusting. But
I
I
love
had
those things.
the meanest craving for them, and I baked like literally the whole box and opened a can of like freaking enchilada sauce. Keep in mind, regular canned enchilada sauce.
It's like tomato
and
sauce.
I heat that sucker up. I pour it on top of the taquitos, and I ate them just like Gabe. And that's why I say he eats like a pregnant lady. So, anyways,
That's the best.
okay. Story aside.
Amazing.
I know. It's just when I saw my husband, he was right there. He's like, "Oh my god, he ate him like you did that one time." I was like, "Oh." So
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I found out 2 days later I was pregnant. But yeah, memories. Well, little old me, I love to be shippy, but is it just me, or was he trying to invite her to join him for some taquitos? Huh?
Well, you know, if the shoe fits.
He did come back from being gone for forever, for all we know. So, first thing he wants to do is have taquitos with the lady. So why not?
Taquito date.
Or with his friend, But I'm being shippy, so no. Anyways, I'm done.
Yeah. Well, regardless of his intention, Naomi completely ignores him.
I know, jeez.
Tells him to meet her after he washes up.
But that's not a no.
That is not a no, you're right. She's like,
take a bath.
So he's like, taquitos in the conference room? Okay.
Wow, Esteban would freak if he saw that.
I know, right there with his little washcloth wiping it all up.
Oh, gosh.
Or were you thinking of something different? Hold on. That could have gone either way.
That was a weird imagery.
So can I just say that the whole Naomi smelling Gabe thing while he talks in the scene is just hilarious. Like she actually like leans in and like sniffs him and then like covers her nose. Oh.
Just to make sure.
Yeah. Like, wait, is that really what I smell? Ugh.
Did he really smell though? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a running gag.
If he smells the way I think he does, yes, he does.
Oh yeah. But then poor Gabe, he finally after like the whole entire conversation goes by, he finally realizes just how much he does stink, and then he gets embarrassed. Poor guy.
That was great. So then the scene transitions to the ship, and they're on their way to Carissa, and I one of those things that it's one of those times in the show that just makes you go, "Aw." We have a sweet Flores cousins moment, which are some of the things that we here live for, don't we, Georgia?
Yes.
Yes.
My heart cries.
Yes. So Elena expresses the worry she has about threats to Avalor, and she says, "We've been through enough." And oh my gosh, my heart, it just breaks for her.
Oh,
Just so
yes.
much on her mind.
Also, Stepan is being honest for the first time about his early misgivings about her suitability to rule. You know, how he was kind of undermining her in the first episode in Model Sister or All Hit It Up. It wasn't like he was trying to get the throne, but he was actively trying to show that she was not just yet fit to be a ruler. But now he assures her that she is a great ruler. He basically tells her he's proud of her. It's really sweet. I'm dying. And she responds by saying she couldn't have done any of it without him. And that kind of destroys me because we all know what's coming. And, you know, I feel like that's kind of a beginning of the end conversation. I'm terrified.
God. Oh,
So I'm not sure if I enjoy it anymore. Yeah.
We're just gonna
I'm
have
kind of
happy
destroyed.
thoughts.
I can't have happy thoughts. I'm full of anxiety. I'm like, please don't hurt Esteban. Please don't hurt Elena anymore. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So as we're all melting at this moment and worrying about what's to come, I just have to love the way the creative team always makes Mateo like the background dork in a lot of these scenes. Like, remember when he was the Jacqueline chasing his tail?
Oh, that was so
Oh
cute.
my gosh.
Yeah.
He was so cute. I love that scene.
Yes, me too.
didn't want
But
us
this
to
time
let
we
him
have
be
him
so
getting
darn
tied
cute.
up with a rope and a bucket on his head.
Background Mateo for the win.
Yes, I love him so much.
Keep
I
background
feel like he
Mateo
should-
coming.
I feel like he would be a meme in Avalor. Like,
Oh my gosh.
A Mateo moment.
Don't Mateo out about it.
Honestly, I don't understand how people don't like Mateo. But anyway. So then after all that, Naomi so it's like back to the evidence with Naomi and Gabe. And she presents her evidence and begins forming a theory that maybe, just maybe, this letter wasn't from King Joaquin after all.
I just love the Elena of Avalor team when they do those beautiful, like, comedic cutaway scenes. We see one in with Mateo again and Moving On Up, when Mateo says she's driving me nuts, and Rafa offers nuts, of course, and then we see Mateo falling over, and it cuts straight into Naomi with all of the letters and everything. So I just think those scenes are so perfectly timed. They are just so amazing.
Yes.
Very good imagination and creativity. And of course we see Detective Pikachu, Detective Naomi on the case.
Nice save.
I would watch that.
And she'd be so good at it, though. She'd like solve it before, like, I don't know, she'd solve it faster, I feel like.
She would.
But anyway, she's super annoyed that Gabe continues to crunch on his taquitos, as Jenny said earlier, in her ear, which, to be honest, I can understand that.
Boy just want to eat, he hungry.
Right? Well, can you imagine how long he's been out and military rations do not taste good?
Yeah, he's only had crackers.
Yeah.
I want to feed him. That sounded weird, but you know.
That sounds very
I just
Greek.
wanna
That sounds
cook for
very
him.
Greek of you.
It kind of.
I know, I was gonna say.
Georgia, our Greek mama.
Oh, yeah, I like cooking for my friends and everyone, so I'm like, yeah, let's feed Gabe as well.
All right. So Gabe, I mean, he kind of thinks that Naomi's a little bit, overreacting a little bit, I guess.
He's the captain.
What?
He's the captain. He should, like, think a little bit more about potential danger like that. But, yeah, he doesn't learn, so I get him.
Yeah, I mean, you would think the captain of the guard would be a little bit more suspicious, but to be honest, like, I think because we know, we've been watching the show, we know, we're right there with Naomi. We're like, yeah, that's totally suspicious, dude. Why don't you get it? Like, if we were to put ourselves in their, thing, like, it was like he signed it differently. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, like, are you telling me he signs the same way every single time? So I kind of get why he's kind of like, all right, yeah.
I can guarantee you, if we're on that show and that was Mateo's writing, we would all be like, wait, that's not different. You guys, this is
True. I know. I mean, Gabe did just spend the last 100 years, looking for them. He'd be a little bit more suspicious.
Right.
You are so right. If it were Mateo, we'd be like him.
But to his defense, he was in the middle of eating taquitos, so I get him.
Yeah, he was just
preoccupied.
Hashtag priorities.
Yeah, of course. Taquitos, man.
Oh, man. Yes.
So, yeah, he's probably, I think he's probably, tired, too. If this is his first time home, he probably doesn't really want to, leave and run off again. And so I feel like he's kind of coming up with some of the excuses as though, oh, it could still be Joaquin. Maybe he just decided to, spice it up a little bit and change the way he writes his love. But he still really wants to be there when Victor and Carla are finally apprehended, because he has been chasing them for so long. I feel like he needs to get this little bit of closure.
Yes.
And so he finally agrees to go with Naomi, and he's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, there has to be a little bit more than just wanting to see the criminals caught, right? I mean, I feel like he was trying his best to be supportive of her. You know what I mean? I feel like everyone sorry, excuse me, I had a frog in my throat. I feel like everyone has been trying to be kind of okay, Naomi, they want to be supportive of her, and at the same time they already kind of have their minds made up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in this scene, you could totally see that he's trying to be supportive of Naomi in spite of, him not really seeing that big of a deal to it,
Yeah. And that's a good friendship moment.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, you kind of can see totally how well they all work together as a team. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They do trust each other, and in this case, Amelia mentioned earlier, it really shows Naomi's growth here. She, you know what I mean? She's not just being stubborn and saying, well, that's it. She kind of wanted to see her friend's point of view, and that's why she didn't speak up about Elena leaving earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, Naomi's super happy that he's kind of gives her a little bit of give there, so she drags him away to find them.
Taquito in hand.
Taquito, grab that last taquito, man.
So then the scene transitions again, and we see the diplomatic attaché arriving in Carissa. And I loved how Elena greets King Joaquin like an old friend. You can tell that there's a lot of history, which we've always gotten hints of the little times that we've seen them together, which is awesome because I love King Joaquin. But dude, King Joaquin is literally acting like a zombie. I totally know it's for dramatic effect and to make it so obvious, but at the same time, it's hard to suspend disbelief sometimes and be like, how do they not see this?
They really wanted them to be there. That's
yeah.
Oh, please just capture them.
We're so tired.
Elena thinks it's weird, but she still goes along with it. Come on, Elena. You can sense when a rock 'em off wago is all heated up, girl, but you can't sense your friend is acting like he's an extra from The Walking Dead. My lord.
For real.
No, but that's literally what he's acting like, though. And even when he insists she leaves her guards behind, she's like, okay. So I guess it just must be they must be really tight, I guess. Just, they just really trust each other.
That was legit creepy.
They are thicker handshake level.
I know.
Exactly.
Oh gosh, yes, that's the importance of secret handshakes.
Yes.
Oh, exactly.
This is the moral of the story. Have a secret handshake for your safety.
Yes. Always
Season
remember
3 coming at you.
I feel like here in LA, we always have one. I'm like, you guys don't have one?
I used to have with my best friends, but
I gotta get on that one. I've lost my California roots.
Yeah. You have.
I gotta get back in touch with them.
You should have one of those.
I did when I was a kid with my sister. Okay. So, anyway, moving to the dungeon. Elena, Mateo, and Esteban faithfully follow Joaquin straight into the dungeon, which, of course, that's where the criminals would be held. So I suppose that makes sense. It's not creepy at all.
And bam! It's the Delgado family.
Da-da-da-da.
Dum, dum.
What the heck?
Oh my gosh.
I love that.
I'm going to
Like
be
the Addams
jamming that.
family. Come on, guys.
They're creepy and they're kooky. Actually, that
Well,
song
it's
would
true.
really work for them.
Fits them so well. I love it. Why didn't we think of this before?
We need
If
the
we ever
Addams
make a
family.
Delgado special,
AU.
that has to be how we open. I'm just saying.
So the Delgados enter stage, right?
Yes. Oh gosh, for real.
And what I love about that part is that Carla is trying to be As's mini-me. She's buzzing the same, smiling the same, she's holding the tambourita the same, cocks her head the same way. And I don't know, it shows that admiration for her mother, that she missed her mother, and it's honestly kind of cute.
It is.
So I love how Elena instantly calls to Mateo for help.
I like that too. No, I'm just kidding.
Of course.
Let me say that in the creepiest voice I can.
Then you're like, don't email me.
Sometimes you just have those
Do you remember-
instincts. You can't resist them.
Do you remember that Me Gusta meme that was around for
Oh my gosh. Yes.
with the little creepy face, and he's like, Me Gusta.
Oh my
That's me right now. Just picture that. That's me. Put it on the YouTube channel. Just put that picture there for me.
Well, to her defense, Mateo is the only one that can actually do something about the situation. He's the only one that has magic. Esteban is kind of useless. As sad as I am to say, but
There's
still,
not a party to plan.
it reminds me kind of as in Rise of the Sorceress with, there's that synchronization, like how he threw the scepter, like, they're like, hey, Mateo, Elena, there's baddies here. Let's get to it.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
it's
like
kind
moving
of
on
cute.
up as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and also he was fast, but sadly he wasn't fast enough. And to be fair, though, it's kind of hard when there's 3 against 1 and they have the upper hand because they surprised him. And like, what was he supposed to do? He couldn't really do much, and so it's understandable.
And it was really interesting to see how well that Victor, Ash, and Carla kind of worked together here. Because I think we've been kind of spoiled with them acting like, kind of like they can't get their stuff together. So it was kind of funny to like suddenly see them like so like seamless, and they're, they were so synchronized in their attack. I loved it.
Yeah. They all have like a common goal, and I think they agree for the moment.
Okay, and then Ash knocks Mateo and Esteban into the cell, and Victor is very quick to disarm Mateo. They're all like doing this like really swift, and like you wonder if they like practiced like these moves before, or are they just like really good like working together, teamwork, despite all the bickering.
Yeah.
I feel like they practiced beforehand.
They rehearsed.
They might have. Yeah. They've been doing drills.
Well, Victor was a bit clumsy with Fierro in Scepter of Night. So he must have been practicing.
True.
But yeah, Victor's super fast to disarm Mateo, and it's clear he knows who the real threat in this moment is. Thought that was kind of interesting.
To be honest, I was kind of amused by this moment because, oh my gosh, luckily it was a blooper. But why wouldn't they take Elena's scepter away? Like,
Now we know why.
It's the decoy scepter.
Yeah,
It's not really there.
Fun. Yeah, there's no more passing.
Poor Elena, she feels so betrayed by Joaquin. She's like, how could you do this, Joaquin? But then, of course, Ash reveals that he was actually under the Imperious curse. Sorry, the mind control
Basically.
spell. Yeah. And she releases him.
That's an unforgivable curse.
Exactly.
I'll never forgive her.
For like Harry Potter fans.
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, crossover. Anyway, so I totally cracked up at this next moment. I love how when Elena gets frozen, it's obvious that not only is she about to just like punch Victor, like she's about to knock his lights out. She looks fierce. But Victor, he's way bigger than her, and he looks afraid of her. He cringes.
Well, he's not gonna hit her back. Like, so he had to like duck, you know.
Well, Elena is terrifying. I wouldn't mess with her.
Yeah, she's like one of those cinnamon rolls who can definitely kill you.
Absolutely.
Like a cinnamon roll
Flores
will
girl.
actually kill
I
you.
love that meme.
Yes. The best.
I'm
meme.
happy to see she has the same reflexes as me.
Yeah. Yeah, further proof that Jenny is Elena.
Yeah.
This is true.
Fact.
All she needed was a chancla in her hand. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
bring the chancla.
Then she would be me. Sorry.
It's a matter of time. We may see that.
Sorry, I am that stereotype. I will hit someone with a shoe if I need to.
Nah, no worries.
Channeling her inner Louisa.
Okay, and Ash, however, still has more tricks up her sleeve and casts a paralysis spell, and Elena is dropped.
No.
And I just adore the fact that she's just let me take this moment to talk about the amazing animation. But I love how she's fighting with all her might. You can hear it in her breathing and see it in the way her eyes are moving. Also, the acting on Amy's part is really great. So, wow, I just really like details like this. And also, can we talk about how utterly terrifying Ash is?
Oh my gosh, she
For
wants
real.
scare lady.
Oh, definitely.
Mhm.
I mean,
I
there's
genuinely feel threatened.
yeah. There's something very different about how she approached Elena versus how Elena had been approached by past villains. Like, I'm sure they were equally scary, don't get me wrong.
She's
But it's
really
just- there's just-
confident.
yeah, there's just something like extra, like
Scary.
sinister,
Yeah.
you know, about the way that Ash approaches her. Like, talk about stranger danger, man. She's like touching her face. She's like, I would have been like, girl, arm around her shoulders, you know.
Get
It's like-
outside the bubble.
I know. Can you stop touching me, lady? Like, I don't even know your name. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it adds to the creepiness because, God, you know, no one likes to be like
No.
manhandled like that. Sorry.
Especially by an enemy. Ew.
I know. This random lady.
She's not
like,
afraid to get personal, so
No.
no.
which could be bad.
Get that first.
Mm.
Yeah, and to add to her mystique and whatever you want to call it, I thought it was really interesting how she introduces herself as Ash. Just Ash, not Ash Delgado. I think this also gives a clue as to how she really feels about her connection to Victor.
Oh, Victor.
I'm actually super attached to Victor as a villain. Like, so I'm kind of like, hell, man.
Yes.
Me too, to be honest.
Yeah.
You got them daddy vibes.
Maybe that's what it is.
Oh boy.
Also, Carla's so obviously proud, and Ash still doesn't bat an eye, and I kind of want to punch her.
Those Elena reflexes again.
Right.
Yes.
We have an inner hostile Elena inside out.
It's hard not to.
I never learned princess.
And then Victor, I love how he like reminds her that she's his wife, and Ash is like clearly annoyed, which definitely is very telling about their relationship if we haven't already seen a lot of evidence of it from prior episodes. So you can tell they really are kind of antagonistic towards each other despite being married. And I feel like they're kind of not really trying to keep up the act too much anymore, especially even though Carla's still there. And so I'm just interested to see where this is going to go.
Yeah, Ash isn't even trying anymore. It's just like, okay, whatever.
If I have to be your wife.
Oh, but those expressions on her face too are just so well done.
Yeah.
Sugar looks
and the act-
kill.
For real.
No kidding, yeah. So then Ash reveals her evil plan, just like all villains do. But it becomes, you know, now we know she's after Elena's magic. Not Elena herself, but the magic she has inside of her.
Would you say it's the
And,
magic within?
Magic within, exactly.
Ooh.
Cue the song.
Nice reference.
I'm just kidding. So, and she is pretty, like, serious. You know, she's doing, I don't know, she's pretty serious. She has zero issues, apparently, with killing Elena in the process.
Ugh.
Which I'm not sure that thoughts even crossed anybody else's mind, really, besides Shrieky, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Everybody's trying to kill that girl. Last episode, she was almost eaten alive. Give her a break.
It's
yeah,
hard.
it's true.
And can I just say, I love how in that moment, Ash is like, I want your magic. And Mateo just mouths off, you can't have it. Like, yeah, you might be stuck behind bars, but you tell her.
Boy, open that door, he banging that door. Mateo's like, grrr.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I love Carla's response to that. Oh, yes, he can, Mateo. And it's great because they're like, they still have that little bickering interaction, and it's really funny. It shows, their feelings after the entire Spine of the Palace arc.
Mhm.
And I'm glad they are continuing this gag. That's a good running gag.
I know. I feel like I was like rolling my eyes along with Mateo, like, oh, not this again. But it's also kind of like a throwback to how much she just doesn't really care for him. She like couldn't be bothered to remember his name when she manipulated him before, and right here she is like, she's nothing more than just like a cat playing with her toy, just kind of like mocking him and taunting him. She really
Good
has, like,
analogy, Amelia.
Wonderful.
Nice. Very true.
she really has like no purpose other than to make fun of him.
Yeah.
So, we see Mateo very seriously trying to get out of his cell. Like, he's ready to, like, bust that door down. I mean, he doesn't, because he's small. But,
Right.
he's small and adorable, and it's very cute that he's trying to break down the door. But
I felt like he was channeling his inner Elena there, because remember in Song of the Sirenas when Elena gets put in the tower there, and she's like trying to shake on the door the same. Like they're both feisty.
Just another reason to ship them. I'm just kidding.
Or are you?
More for the blooper.
The couple that shakes the door together. But you know what? He was so worried about her, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Esteban, I think he's just petrified over in the corner.
Poor baby.
Oh, and then, okay, so then this part, it just made me laugh because Joaquin, he's like so chill, almost like too chill, response to his closest political ally possibly being murdered. He's like, we're just gonna sit back and wait for the guards to rescue us. It's all gonna be fine, don't worry. I'd be a little more worried, but like, okay, whatever floats your boat, I guess.
I honestly think this must be a typical royal response. Like, remember what happened when
in the meantime, mojitos?
Right. Higgins, alert the Navy. You know, my cousin just got kidnapped and I can't do anything about it.
Well, to our defense, Esteban was early season 1 Esteban like that. He was not just a royal, he was all kinds of weird entitled royal guy.
Yes.
So next we have our heroes of the day, Naomi and Gabe arriving in Cariza, and they discover Elena has been captured. They see her kind of like doing that funny little walk outside of the palace, but they discover that she's been captured, so they quickly... Alright, well, they dive for cover.
Yeah, and then as soon as they walk outside and they see Elena's been captured, but they're like, but wait, who is that? Who is that other Mavalgo? And they're like having a moment there, trying to figure it out.
What in the world?
Who is she?
Speaking of the other Malvago, Mrs. Ash, should I say, she's taunting Elena with the Scepter of Night, the little jewel. You know, Elena looks really like afraid of it. Does that remind her of her final showdown with Shreek? Up until this point, is Shrieky inside? Is she dead? Is the magic from her in there? I don't know.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if there was just some kind of little mini flashback going on in her head at that moment. Just like all the memories that are associated with that darn jewel.
So Gabe rushes off to save Elena, and that's really sweet of him. He is that protective streak hits in. I love Gabe. And Naomi points out the flaws, but he doesn't listen. He's just so... On one hand, you can say that he's kind of impulsive, but on the other hand, that's his job. He wants to protect his... And Elena is in danger, the crown princess and his best friend, and whoa. So, yeah, he doesn't listen to Naomi. Naomi's like, well...
Yeah.
Don't rush off, you damn bastard. Sorry, just kidding.
Oh my gosh. Tell me how you really feel.
Honestly, though, I think, a lot of people in the fandom have been like, how come no one listens to Naomi, blah, blah, blah. But it really is more complicated than that. Like, when you really stop to think, like you said, about what must be going on inside Gabe's head, it is his job. And I can totally, like, sympathize with the panic that he must be feeling.
He could be also thinking, like, payback. Because remember, when they were looking for the Scepter of Night, they totally would just, like, rush off and leave him behind. So he's probably like,
I'm out of here.
I feel like Gabe has really bad timing. Like, when people listen to him, he's wrong. And when he's right, nobody's listening to him.
Oh, poor Gabe.
Gabe his moment to shine. Come on.
It's coming. Don't worry.
He needs
Hope
a break.
so. He did not become a captain of the guard for nothing. He's been through some El Guapo stuff. And
well, that was
that
his
was
own
traumatizing.
fault. He sort of brought that on himself.
Yeah, but he
Don't
was
touch
just
the
feeling
sword.
insecure.
Oh, maybe I should touch the sword.
Who wouldn't, though?
Yeah,
Yeah, true.
I'd touch the sword.
Now that's an
Immediately will touch the sword.
Getting Finding Nemo flashbacks.
Who
Don't touch the bat.
Don't touch the butt. She touched the butt.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's inappropriate. That's
Okay, deep breaths, girls.
Focus.
Okay. All right.
Scene
So,
11.
Scene 11. Here we go. So, the next scene, we have this, we see Ash is literally right before our eyes trying to drive a wedge between Victor and Carla, which, as a mommy, that is like throwing up all the red flags, and I do not like that one bit. You keep those kids out of it. Ash, I'm about to mama slap you.
see,
I didn't like that. Did anybody like that? I really didn't like it. Victor's my favorite villain right now. So
just this whole thing that we're watching go down.
Get you.
like
Just like in was it Not Without My Magic, where she's like, you took that away from me seeing Carla grow up. Well, actually, Ash was you, love.
yeah,
Not Victor.
you walked out that door, girl.
Right?
Don't blame it on Victor.
That was a choice.
He loves his daughter. She's all he has, and just don't dash.
Yeah, it's like she's actually trying to like, okay, you took that from me, so I'm gonna take this from you, kind of. That's
Don't.
no.
She chose
that makes
to
me
leave.
mad. This just totally made me. They're like a divorced couple for all I care right now. That's how they're acting. Not cool.
Basically.
Get them a counselor.
I don't think that's gonna help, but we can try.
Yeah, I don't think canceling is gonna work.
Tambourine is at the door, please.
So yeah, in the middle of all of this, we can see like her going to work and like, like planting these seeds of, I don't know, discontent or whatever. And we see Ash declaring Carla to be the stronger Malvago. And it's like, how devious and manipulative, and like it's like she knows exactly where to hit Carla to get that perfect reaction.
And also hitting Victor as well.
Exactly.
And then, so I like seeing this because like Carla's like super overjoyed at Ash's assessment of her skill that she like totally doesn't even notice how Ash is like belittling Victor and like totally brushing him aside and basically trying to drive a wedge in between Carla and Victor's relationship. And so I wonder how long this is going to last, or whether Carla will ever kind of start to like catch on to what her mom is doing, or if her mom's always going to just say like the perfect hero in her eyes.
You know what I thought was interesting is that this is the first time Ash even like directly, addresses Carla's skills at all. So it's kind of sad that the only time she really gives the attention there is to use it against, Victor.
Yes. Ooh, that makes it even more like
The red flags are real.
yes. And I think it even served not only to drive that wedge, but it also like played like it's almost like she knew, like she had witnessed or observed over the past few however long it's been since they've been reunited, the way Carla and Victor like bicker back and forth, because it's like she played on that perfectly. Victor's so indignant, like, she's younger, she's still new, she's just a child. He's so indignant that she would say that Carla is stronger than him, and that just plays on that dynamic so perfectly.
And then Ash says, she studied magic for 10 years, she can see potential. And wow, she studied magic for 10 years. That's because Carla
That's a
would have
long
only
time.
been very, very young when she left then. Maybe 7, 8, if she's 17, 18.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Yeah, it's a
So-
very long time.
So I think we can assume that she's the one that suggested, they had discussed with Victor about learning magic, becoming Malvagos long before he met Shuriki. But that means that Ash was probably the one to even suggest that. She was the one that had connection to magic prior to her going away for training.
Yeah, and in the middle of all that, we see her make the bold statement that Carla clearly has natural talent, and here's where she just like drives a knife in and like twists it. You wouldn't want to hold your own daughter back, would you? Like, it's just delivered so perfectly.
I know.
And
Like,
then
Victor can't argue with that.
right, exactly. Especially after seeing Carla's face. I mean, like, look at that like sad, like, I don't even know what to call that. Like that like childlike expression on her face and those big eyes.
She just wants her parents' invalidation, and that's
Yeah.
honestly kind of, it humanizes her. And,
Yeah. She's like, Daddy.
Luckily, Victor is smooth AF, so he had a really good save there.
Yeah.
And
her face
gotta love
brightens
Victor.
up.
Yes, he doesn't want to make her sad.
Mm-mm.
And he's
But
not trying to undermine Ash in order to through Carla, just like Ash is doing. I'm pretty sure he could do it. Like, he has gaslighted, he can shift guilt to other people like he did with Esteban, but he's clearly not using Carla to hit back Ash. And
That's a really
that
good
kind
point.
of shows the kind of actor he is. Yeah.
It just also shows how talented the Elena of Avalor team are to show those traits within the characters, which was seen for like only short bursts. Ash we've only seen for a couple of episodes, yet we know like her throughout these expressions and things, her personality, versus Victor. And but in saying that, Victor, he knows exactly what Ash is doing to use Carla against him.
So then the next scene we have Gabe rushing in spite of Naomi's protests, and he's like, I gotta do it. I gotta take this chance and try to do my job and save Elena.
To be honest, Gabe makes perfectly good arguments, in his favor here. Because, when you really think about it, they do have the element of surprise here. And they really can't risk them, casting any spells or anything like that. So, as a captain of guard, thinking, totally thinking technical here. And he's just thinking, like, by themselves, this is how they should address it. They could get them by surprise and, disarm them.
Yeah. And you know what, though? If they were facing a non-magical opponent, that would be exactly the strategy they should use. Like you said, you just can't really blame him for thinking in that way. Like, he wasn't like being stupid or anything. It's just, a type of opponent that he doesn't quite know how to strategize against.
Well, Captain of the Guard means Captain of
great points.
Avalor, and then Captain of Elena, and his number one job is to protect the kingdom, aka Elena. So that's what's running through his little mind.
Of course, the stakes are too high. He can't mess up.
Exactly.
But we also see that Naomi's points are quite sound, like, she has really great points. Like, they have to go find Mateo so they have magic on their side, or corner them so that, they can't, like, sneak up on them or get away or anything like that. So I thought that made, like, they both had good arguments. And, as we discussed, like, can't really blame Naomi for giving in to Gabe's plan. He is the captain of the guard, and it's his job to understand strategy like this. So I can see why, it's not even necessarily a lack of confidence thing on her part, but like, oh, well, clearly he understands this. So maybe I should, like, just give in and let him have his way.
Sadly, though, Gabe's plan just doesn't work. because as the girl said, those are magical opponents. It's kind of difficult to deal with. He's the captain of the guard, but you're giving him too much at the moment. Ash is not only quick, she's powerful and easily overcomes Gabe, Naomi, Skylar, and Mix even without her family's help.
By the way, on a little side note, did anyone watch that part and think that Naomi must have some killer guns to be able to lift Elena up that quickly with the rope?
She did work on a ship. You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
You figure with all the barrels.
Yeah.
Barrels. But
She's a strong girl.
Yeah, I was
She's
just
actually superhero.
for real.
Oh yeah.
What we need to see is her bench pressing like Gabe or something.
Oh my god, that would be awesome.
Please, I need that.
That would
I
be
need
the
that in
best
my
thing
life.
ever. I'm sure we can get that squeezed in somewhere, right?
Of course. If nothing, it's a good fan art inspiration.
I'm just saying, if it's not animated, I'll do it.
I'm counting on it.
Yeah, so then it doesn't really go as planned though, because then everyone keeps hitting the deck. First Gabe and then Elena. And so it's a good thing the wood is so strong and must be some sort of special Carrizo lumber or something.
Right. They're hitting it from high distances. Bam!
I feel bad because
Hope I don't get a concussion.
Hasn't she fallen off the Jacqueline for the third time already?
Oh my gosh, yes. And this time there was no bushes to catch her.
I feel like this is the third episode. Bro, I mean, I have to look back, but I'm pretty sure she just recently fell off a Jacqueline.
Oh my goodness.
We need to get that girl a parachute.
For real. Put it in her scepter belt. So, okay though, but seriously guys, how badass is Ash to just freeze Gabe without even looking behind her? I love that.
Sorry.
It's sort of like Fierro in a way, but he does it without his tamborita, so maybe Ash can too. Or maybe that's I've always wondered that if that's a Malvago thing, can Mateo learn to do it? But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's some strong type of magic.
Right.
Those snakes.
Those evil snakes.
Yes.
Okay, I know none of you are going to agree with me on this, so I'm just being a silly shippy girl, and this is a total call out to my friend Adriana, but we were talking and we couldn't help but think that Carla looked rather interested in the captain of the guard at that moment. Her eyes followed him, just saying.
It's funny. I did not notice until she posted it, and I was just like, damn girl, I totally saw it at that point. I was like, oh. At first I thought it was, how when you look at screenshots, you're kind of like, okay, was that the screenshot kind of that 1 second, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In between motions. But no, she actually goes and makes a gesture. Hey.
Yeah. Hey.
But can we
I
blame her?
legit made the gift for that because I was like, did she really? And her eyes do. Carla watches Gabe that whole entire time.
They certainly lit up more than we've seen her eyes light up. Just saying.
Adriana, Carla Stan.
Yes.
Honestly, but who isn't though? Just look at him.
Yes.
It's true.
All right, and then we see Ash. She tells Carla to finish her, but Victor jumps in the way, and they both miss Naomi and Skylar.
Thank goodness.
Scepter of Night all over again.
Whew, sigh of relief.
Elena is also so fierce. She's stopping Ash from hurting her friends with that lasso. I love that. It's just foreshadowing for the episode. We see it in Tides of Change with Bloom, what she's learning in the beginning, which ended up saving the day later on. And we just saw in the beginning of this episode with the lasso, and she was able to use it this episode, which was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Skylar listened to her too and was like, "Okay, you got to pick your battles. We got to regroup." So good on him.
I feel like Skylar is thinking more and more like a leader as the episodes go by. He's being more responsible, and maybe that's referring to the fact that he's growing and he is going to be the leader of Via Estrella at some point. He's kind of like a parallel to Elena, but a Jacqueline parallel. He started out, a bit more carefree and a bit more
childish.
Yeah, we can just have fun. And so that was, I don't know, I found that to be really interesting. So, speaking of Skylar, Skylar and Migs are the ones going for Naomi because she panics She's all alone. Everyone is defeated, and she doesn't have magic, and she's not skilled in combat like Gabe is. But luckily, they are there to sing a special Jacqueline song. Cue the music.
Yeah, so then the song for this episode was called Speak. And basically, I feel like the general theme of the song was that it was Mix and Skylar, the ones who were singing, and they were basically telling Naomi to stand up for what she believes in. And I just thought it was actually really cool the way they had it, because not only was the song catchy and I like the lyrics and stuff, but also you don't normally see. I feel like there's not much interaction between Naomi and then the Jacqueline just in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really liked how, also, I feel like the second season, the Jacquelines are the ones that are more encouraging, like the humans, whereas the first season seemed kind of opposite, or maybe that's just me. But I really like, since they don't have much interaction, I liked when they were able to still be able to like tell her and encourage her. And sometimes just hearing such encouragement from people you're not as close to is almost more effective, because you feel like they actually mean it sometimes. And so I think it was just a really good touch in the way they had it all put together, and I feel like it really did make an impact on Naomi, which is exactly what she needed.
Exactly. Yeah. And I personally, I kind of expected Naomi to sing in this episode, but I'm kind of glad that she didn't, because, I mean, really, if you think about it, like, what would she have sung about? It would have been kind of a woe is me, maybe, like, oh, poor me.
Yeah.
But instead, she got the encouragement that she needed, you know? It was exactly what she needed. So I thought that was really cool.
And I love always hearing the Jacqueline sing as well.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't think we've heard Mig sing since Secret of Avalor. Can anyone think of a time when he's actually sang?
Oh.
He only
I
did
think
backup
that's
dancing
true.
with Luna, but not really sing. So yeah, I think it was Secret of Avalon.
Wow. So that's like literally day one.
That is a long
And it's
time
also,
ago.
it's kind of funny because there's also growth there. I don't believe there's growth in every single dynamic in this show, but even Naomi, remember how she was scared of writing a Jacqueline in the first episode?
Oh my
I
gosh,
don't know.
yes. That's a great point. She was so terrified, and now she's
Getting encouraged by them.
right and going off to
Cute.
save people on her own. Like, go Naomi. So I thought the theme of the song was really cool. The theme being stand up for what you believe in. And, I thought there was some really interesting comparisons and contrasts with the way Naomi was in Finders Leapers. I kind of feel like this whole episode was like the parallel and the like really showing her growth from that moment. You know, how she completely backed down because she didn't believe in herself at all in Finders Leapers. And this time she's backing down, maybe not because she doesn't believe in herself, but she trusts her friends more. So
Actually, that's a great point.
Yeah, I think so too.
So after the song, Naomi has a plan. She regroups, and I happen to like Naomi's plan. It's simple. Free Mateo.
Woo! Also, step
Easy
up
to
there.
remember.
Of course, Mateo's always the answer. I'll fight anyone who tells me otherwise.
Oh,
Couldn't
absolutely.
agree more.
I mean, how can you fight magic without Mateo? He's kind of essential.
Victor looks pretty impressed with himself, putting Gabe in the jail, and even says a sly comment to Esteban, El Segundo. Vicky, my godmother, what does El Segundo mean?
I believe it means the second, which we learned in King of the Carnival, when Victor explains that Esteban's nickname as a child was El Segundo because they raced all the time, and Victor always came in first, and Esteban always came in second.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright, so Naomi has a plan to blast everyone out of prison. So clever how she tricks Victor into blasting a hole in the wall. That's a classic. Go, Naomi. We stand Naomi.
Well, she used the line, Carla's better malvago than you against him, which of course we saw made him angry before, so it's going to make him angry now.
Wow, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm. And oh my gosh, I just have to say that Naomi is such a rogue. Only a rogue would be that tricky.
And then we see Mateo get Victor's tambarita, and that smile, baby, that smile he does, making the knees weak while gorgeous Mateo smile at a time.
Same.
Yes.
So once they're free, Naomi is quick to give the orders, and this time, Gabe and Mateo are quick to listen. So
They are.
She mean business.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
does. And she leads them to the ship, and I liked how Gabe was like, "All right, here's what we should do." And Naomi gets her assertive voice, and she says, "Oh no, I have a plan." And then she like kind of like just sachets off and like shoots a sly look over her shoulder at Gabe. So sassy.
And he looked like he liked it. I'm just saying it.
And he was like,
I'm just
okay.
saying, you saw that look like,
Oh, I did.
Okay, I like that. He's like, I dig that. Okay.
Okay, I will follow you.
Yeah, so then they sneak onto the ship, and then they come upon Ash and Carla and Elena's like sitting in the chair, and they start their creepy cultist ritual thing, which is really creepy, and I would probably like run screaming if my friend wasn't tied in the chair.
Right.
So
Oh, yeah, honestly, us is just so sinister. Soon all your troubles will be over forever. It's just like implying Elena will die. So, also, Great Lyle is playing Ash, and her voice is different from all the villains she's played, and that's really interesting and really cool. And this just sounds so sinister. I love it.
I think we were all like seriously on the edge of our chair in this scene because I think my heart stopped. I was just like, no, they can't be the Elena. What? No.
For real. And then in the middle of all that, you know, they do a really nice job of throwing in a little comedic moment to kind of lighten up that scary bit, because we hear what's obviously Mateo like tripping over something and squawking in the hallway the way only Mateo can. It's adorable. But Carla leaves the ritual, which I think goes to show like how impulsive she is, and so she's not completely like her mother's little minion yet. And she goes out and finds a surprise waiting for her in the hallway.
oh yeah, so she goes outside, and then she sees obviously Mateo, and she's like, Matato. He's like, ugh.
I loved his line there. Where he was just, she's like, what? How did you get away? The same way you lost your tamburita? What?
What?
Burn.
And then
He's so
baby, he's
sassy.
like, it's Mateo. Oh, it's like, girl, you gone and played yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Mateo open the door, and then he casts a spell to break the scepter jewel. And I honestly didn't think it was going to work, but it did, and it smashed into like pieces, and of course that stopped the ritual straight away.
If Shrieky was inside that jewel, she's not anymore.
She gone, baby.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, that, like, quick thinking where he absolutely destroys the scepter jewel, it goes to show how much he's grown from Scepter of Night, because he was always so torn about learning that scepter and that jewel back then, and without hesitation, you know, came to Elena's being, he totally just, in a split second, just destroyed that sucker.
Yes.
So he was so hesitant, of course, we've seen in the whole of season 1 and the season 2.
Yeah.
It's just so amazing to see like how far he has come.
Yes. And then moving on from that, like, we just get to see him, like, not only did he break the scepter jewel, but he goes on to, like, literally one-on-one battle who he declares to be the most evil Malvago, the like scariest evil Malvago he's ever seen or heard of. Mateo versus Ash. They're like shooting spells at each other, and Mateo wins.
Well, he gets really close to winning, for sure.
Yes, that's true.
All right, and then we see some great teamwork between Naomi and Gabe. Just as Ash is about to, you know, do an attack, we have Naomi lassoing her, and Gabe just chucks his sword. Well, not really chucks it, but he like throws it.
Yes.
And gets right in the middle of her tamburita.
I thought that was super impressive, though. Like, that tamburita ain't gonna be working anytime soon.
Oh.
But we see Ash, she's not done with Elena. She leans in and says, again, just oh so like smoothly, like she's not a feather is ruffled. Another time then, and then she leaps out of the hole that's been blown in the wall with Carla. But it makes me wonder, is she still going to be going after Elena's magic? Is that going to be like the theme of season 3? Who knows?
Okay, firstly, hashtag Avalor After Dark because Mateo could have so cast Congladi and froze the whole water, trapping Ash and Carla. But he is a good small bean.
He doesn't want to
They
kill
would
them
have
all.
pulled them.
Yeah, he's not that sinister.
He's not.
And also, just on a side note, Carla wants to go back. Of course, she wants to go back and get Victor, but Ash is like, no, we can't.
Also, we see that Ass is nothing without her magic. Okay, maybe not nothing, but says basically defenseless. He has to retreat, and we found her weakness already. So it kind of, we're kind of curious. Is that our big baddie? Is there something greater?
It's kind of a parallel
man.
because Elena doesn't have her magic, and of course Ash at the moment is without her magic, and they both feel powerless without it. But Elena, she of course has her friends, and like as she said with Skylar at the end of I think it was. Is it Lona's? No, it was not without my magic. I'll have you. You know, she has all those like different forces behind her, whereas Ash, as far as we know, she's been like a lone wolf. So it'd be interesting to see how
That's
that
a
plays
darn
out.
great point.
Yeah. And
Did Ash take her tamburita?
no, it's
Or
like
is it
pinned to the
Nah,
wall.
it's still on the wall.
So now I'm curious what she's going to be using.
Yeah.
Can she do wandless magic? I mean,
Yeah. Well, she tells Carla when Carla says we need to go back. She says without our tamburitas, we have no chance. So that makes me wonder, like,
Interesting.
what are they going to do in the future? Because Mateo had they actually Team Avalor is in possession of all 3 tamburitas right now.
yay!
It's pretty good.
Right?
They've been
But we know there's more
confiscated.
out there.
Yes.
We know Kitamos has one. We know
The crystal
Princess Valentina has one.
It's true.
Theodore has a frozen one.
Is there like a, tamburita shop somewhere? I wonder.
Like Ollivander.
Tamburitas, get your
The
tamburitas.
tamburita chooses the wizard.
And we know Mateo has like 50 of them, I
That's
think.
true. This is true. Okay, so we see that in addition to no one, Ash making the point, we don't have tamburitas, Carla is so not happy about leaving her daddy behind, which just kind of breaks my heart, but she goes along with it.
Yeah, this is kind of like been what we've been talking about this whole episode too. Like, was she going to finally have to make a choice between her 2 parents and like choose one or the other, or is it like are they somehow going to reconcile, or just what's going to happen to the dynamic between all 3 of these Delgados? So I'm really interested to see how it will come out, but I guess only time will tell.
Which jumps us towards the end of the episode. We see Joaquin, and he, of course, apologizes as Victor's getting loaded into the ship, I mentioned, to go back to Avalor in the dungeon, maybe. But, of course, Joaquin apologizes and says, Cariz is always in your debt. Is this kind of foreshadowing? We think that perhaps he says he's in debt to Naomi. Will she maybe do more for Cariza in the future? Could this be the arc that we potentially think may happen, that she might be the Chancellor, or she may go to the Grand Council of
I think you just
Cariza?
killed Georgia.
I think you just stabbed Georgia in the heart.
You did? Because
She's
we
gone.
always know that from her song that she's got to be something special, and she wants to be more, more than just the girl on the boat. She wants to prove herself. So could this be the complete big arc for her? I guess we have to wait and see.
So then we see Elena apologizing to Naomi, and Elena's a very good apologizer. You can see she's just. I like that she's willing to admit she was wrong, and it's very heartfelt.
Genuine, very
sincere.
genuine. Yeah.
It's a part of being a good ruler, knowing where you make mistakes and owning up to them.
It's true. And Naomi says, next time I won't back down. And I thought that was a really cute like friendship moment between them, because Elena was just like, you better not.
They're so cute.
Yeah, loved that. They're like sisters.
Yes.
Yeah, so then I think it's really funny because after that, then Skylar then is kind of like saying, we don't know if it's like jokingly or kind of serious, but he's like, you should make Naomi your chancellor. And then cue Esteban having a panic attack.
Just like I did. Elena's joking freaks Esteban out, and honestly, it feels like a foreshadowing because it's not exactly doesn't have like cute music in the background or something like that. It feels like Esteban is kind of in dip. Yeah, his. All right, so Esteban kind of has messed up everything. He's been holding a secret for 2 years now, or it's almost 3 years actually, and when everything is revealed, we don't know what will happen. Like losing his position is the least
Of
problem. Yeah, the least of his worries. Thank you. My Greek streak kicked in. Yeah, so I'm kind of freaked out. Please don't hurt my baby.
Well, when you think about it, now they have Victor in custody. And Victor is the one that knows that secret. So I'm curious to see if by Victor being in custody here, that's going to lead to that conversation that, I mean, is bound to happen, you know?
Oh, man.
As Tom Rogers said, nothing stayed a secret forever, so...
Dun, dun, dun.
It's coming.
Yeah, and so then the next scene is they're back on the boat and they're heading back home. And Elena comes up, she sees like Mateo and Naomi and Gabe all kind of like standing by the edge of the railing. She's like, what are you guys thinking about and stuff?
And I love how... Okay, so... I actually got... That's the point I actually got terrified with Ash, because he was like, Ash is the most powerful motherfucker I've ever seen. And it's not like Mateo hasn't seen some things. Like, Fierro was really powerful. He turned an entire ballroom of people into stone. He is so streaky. But really, Ash is terrifying, and he signifies the importance, the caliber of the danger they're in. But to make up for the mini heart attack we just had, he gives Elena gives a cute little elbow to Mateo. That my sleeping goggles are activated. That was really cute.
It was very cute.
And I love how he reaches and he initiates contact with her and the rest of the amigos. Our boy has grown so much. He used to not have many friends, being the kid that's in the basement studying magic, and now he's got friends, and he's got that beautiful relationship with that, especially Elena. Excuse me, sipping goggles.
I'll just take you back to a point you said just before, Georgia, about the with Fierro and Ash. Obviously, Mateo knew about Fierro. He knew, like, of course, from his grandfather and that conflict they had there, but he doesn't know anything about Ash. None of them really do, so this is why I probably think it's got the most spooked.
Ooh, that's true.
And like you said, Mateo is very worried about Ash. She's the most powerful wizard he's ever seen, which, like you said, that is totally saying something.
But Naomi is pretty confident that no matter what comes, they'll be able to defeat her again. And, this is a really nice moment between the two friends where she's able to reassure Elena that no matter what, comes their way, they'll be able to take it on.
Yes.
And then, of course, there's the beautiful group hug as they arrive home, which is just like a beautiful end of the season, that they're all together. They've just not defeated, but they've just come across the battle, that they're all together
and
again, because of course. In their home, yes, of course, and also Gabe, he's been away for so long, so it was really good to see them all back. What a beautiful episode, and everything from the story to the characteristics, the personalities, and of course that magic scene. We were on the edge of our seats. We absolutely loved everything about it, but of course we all have our favourite parts. Tonight, my favourite one was like the whole episode. I absolutely love the visuals in this episode with the magic spells. Those bright yellows versus those reds and whites and purples, the way that spell was flying up towards the jewel of the Scepter of Night, it was just absolutely breathtaking. Jenny, what about you?
I'm going to be the quirky one here and say my favorite part was the whole Taquitos scene.
That was great.
I'm sorry, that was so cute. You know what I mean? It's just super cute, like the way he's like, he came off this mission and he's just like, I'm hungry. And he's just crunching away, and Naomi's getting annoyed, but he's still crunching away. And
Oh.
I'm sorry, it was
Hungry
just that
boy.
lighthearted part, and I enjoyed it.
That was great.
In such a serious episode, it was
So
wonderful.
funny.
Exactly.
Amelia, what about you?
Okay. So, definitely my top favorite was getting to see my favorite character return. One of my favorite characters, that is. And just seeing him, well, Gabe, in case you don't know.
Hey, Amelia.
And just seeing him back and like alive and well and hungry, but like just having him back and just like with the rest of the amigos again, they're like the core four, you know, they're back together again, and I just really love their dynamics and just seeing them fight evil together. It's just one of my favorite parts of the show. But I
Oh my
also
gosh,
really
yes.
enjoyed watching the Delgado dynamic because that's just so interesting to me, and I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with that and whether like Carla's gonna have to choose or just whether Ash is gonna be like the big bad Elena has to face or just I'm just really interested to see where that's going.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, definitely. Georgia, what about you?
I feel like I should have my favorite part should have been the scene between the Flores cousins. Like it's the closest thing we've gotten to Esteban admitting he is proud of Elena, and it was really heartwarming. But I was so terrified by everything that was happening and everything that's going to happen in season 3 that I really did not get to enjoy it as much as I would in another episode. So, to be honest, my favorite part, as you said, other than the animation, Chrissy, because that was amazing, was Ash and how the crew introduced her to us. I mean, they technically introduced her, and not without my magic, but this is the first time we see the caliber of her powers and what she's capable of and how evil she is. And, like, wow, that's a great introduction of the new threat.
Oh my gosh, right? Okay, Becky, what about you?
Man, it's so hard to pick just one bit because it was just a really great episode. But I suppose I really enjoyed watching Naomi and Gabe team up. That was really cool, just their whole dynamic there early on. And then I'm not gonna lie, I really loved seeing Mateo not only getting one over on Carla with the whole like witty banter kind of thing, but then he was just amazing with his magic, like breaking the scepter jewel and like literally battling with Ash. It's like, sorry Jenny, but it's like Harry versus Lord Voldemort, okay?
Jenny's
I'll
rolling
forgive
her
it
eyes.
this one.
Sorry, I couldn't help
Did
it.
you feel my eyes rolling
I
from here? No, I'm
totally
just
felt
kidding.
it. It like stabbed me in the back.
too.
But anyway, the whole thing was just great.
Definitely. Okay, so we didn't get our beach whole theory that I did last time, which was kind of sucky. So there's always next season we can have the beach scene. But overall, it was just absolutely magic. It was just a magical episode. A really, really fantastic way to end season 2, which of course we can't wait to see what we have in store for season 3. And speaking of this as the season final, we don't actually have any next episode speculations as we don't actually know what that is just yet. However, keep your eyes peeled as your #podcast princesses are going to have a season 3 speculation special over the hiatus, and the things we know are upcoming, the things we think are upcoming, and the things we law praise above a wish are upcoming.
Yes, and we are super excited to put that together for you guys. All right, girls, I think that's it for now. So, of course, as always, thank you, girls, for being so amazing. Another great episode with you. And
Aww.
thank you to our listeners all over the world. You guys are absolutely fabulous. And we can't wait for you to join us next time. So in the meantime, check us out on Twitter or Instagram for news, fun games, and resources you absolutely will not want to miss. And make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing to our channel on YouTube, iTunes, or SoundCloud. If you're feeling extra generous, leave us some feedback. We love hearing from our listeners. And that means you. Until next time, though, wings up, amigos. Bye.
Bye.